to this analysis. I gotta say, I'm absolutely thrilled to dive into this topic today, mostly because it hits so close to home for pretty much all of us. We're looking at the true cost of your meetings, heavily inspired by the management principles of Fredman Malek. If you're managing a team, or honestly, just breathing in a modern workplace, you know that creeping sense of dread, right? It's like you're literally drowning in your calendar. You're sprinting from one conference room to another or hopping endlessly between video calls, and there is absolutely zero uninterrupted time left for actual deep work. Well, the data totally backs up that overwhelming feeling. Check this out. 80% of managers spend a staggering 60% of their working time locked in meetings. But here's the real kicker, 60% of those meetings considered completely unproductive. We've kind of tricked ourselves into confusing the simple act of sitting in a room with actual decision-making. But here's the great news. Meetings themselves aren't actually the enemy. Bad meetings are. So let's figure out exactly how to fix them.
260. Right. Let's do a little math here. I want you to picture a totally standard recurring weekly meeting. We all have them on our calendars. Let's say it's just 5 colleagues gathering for one single hour a week. Sounds incredibly harmless, doesn't it? I mean, it's just 1 hour. What's the big deal? But when you actually multiply that out, 1 hour a week, 5 people, that equals 260 hours a year. Let that sink in for a second. That is 32 full working days. That is more than an entire month of solid, uninterrupted work, just completely swallowed up by one single recurring invite. Just imagine what your team could actually accomplish with an extra 32 days. So I really have to ask you directly, how much of that time was actually worth it? How much of those 32 days generated real, tangible value, and how much of it was just staring at a wall waiting for the hour to be up?
Okay, let's dive into this. Think about what goes down for like 90% of the time in that room. Dead silence. Everyone is looking down at their notebooks, staring blankly at their laptops, maybe discreetly checking their phones under the table, doing everything in their power to avoid eye contact. Nobody says a word. It's agonizing. But what happens the absolute second that meeting officially ends and everyone hits the hallway? Bam! Suddenly, it's this remarkably lively discussion. Everyone has an opinion, everyone knows exactly what they think, the energy completely flips, and the real conversation finally happens by the coffee machine. It's wild, but it brilliantly illustrates the core problem we all face. Again, meetings themselves aren't your enemy. The problem is bad meetings. It's this total lack of structure and purpose that causes people to hold back their actual thoughts until they are safely outside the door. So how do we actually stop this madness? Well, Fredman Malek gives us this highly effective, beautifully straightforward methodology to stop the calendar bloat once and for all. It all boils down to 3 crucial steps. Step 1, prepare. You cannot just wander into a room, grab a donut, and, see what happens. You need a clear, definitive list of points and a logical sequence. And this agenda needs to be circulated at least 15 minutes prior to the start. Rule of thumb, no agenda, no meeting, period. Step 2, lead. This takes strict, unapologetic discipline. You literally need a clock on the table. You stick to the sequence, you manage the time rigorously. You cut off those rambling tangents, and you maintain order. You are the conductor of this orchestra. And then step 3, and this is absolutely the most vital piece of the puzzle, actions. After the meeting, you don't just leave with vague, feel-good concepts. You leave with specific actions. If you don't have these 3 steps flawlessly executed, your meeting wasn't a meeting at all. It was just a really expensive social hour.
Which brings us right to the ultimate failure point. A log without an action column isn't a log, it's a memory. I literally cannot emphasize this enough. If you take notes during a meeting, but you don't have an action column detailing exactly who is doing what and by when, you didn't actually have a productive meeting. You just had a gathering. It happens all the time, right? People walk out with a nice piece of paper, a lovely summary of what was said, everyone's nodding in agreement, but absolutely zero assigned responsibilities. Without specific names attached to specific tasks, backed by hard, non-negotiable deadlines, you were just putting out fires. You're wasting precious time. That piece of paper isn't a functional blueprint for moving forward. It's just a memory of a conversation. It's a souvenir of your lost hour. All right, so here is your tactical homework. Yes, I am speaking directly to you right now. This is your specific assignment for the week to reclaim your time and, quite frankly, your sanity. First up, look closely at your regular meetings, find one, and just cancel it. Cancel it outright. See if the world ends. Spoiler alert, it won't. Second, take another 60-minute meeting on your schedule and strictly cut it in half, down to 30 minutes. You're going to be amazed at how much faster people get to the point when that clock is ticking. And third, take one meeting where you just need to share information, write down exactly why it exists, and replace the whole shebang with an email. It is really that concrete. Don't just vaguely try to improve meetings or be better at time management. Take these 3 specific, ruthless actions today. I promise you, your entire team will be deeply thankful for this newly reclaimed time. They might even throw a tiny, non-scheduled celebration for you.
So, knowing all of this, which meeting are you going to cancel tomorrow? It is officially time to slay the calendar monster, starting immediately. You have the numbers, you know the true shocking cost of those 260 hours, and you have Malak's 3 straightforward steps: prepare, lead, and assign actions. And most importantly, you have your concrete assignment. The power to change your daily schedule is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for joining me for this analysis. Now, seriously, go look at that calendar, make those cuts, and start getting your life back.